Hey there, tubies! Today, we're diving into a hot topic that has been causing quite a stir in Singapore. It involves the recent revelations surrounding the rental of state properties on Ridout Road by Ministers K Shanmugam and Balakrishnan. Now, before we begin, I want to make it clear that the reports conducted by Senior Minister Teo Chee Heen and the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, CPIB, found no evidence of corruption, criminal wrongdoing, or conflict of interest. However, they have shed light on some intriguing aspects of the Singapore Land Authorities, SLA, operations, which manages these properties. So, let's unpack this financial puzzle, shall we? The reports have uncovered some eyebrow-raising numbers. It turns out that the SLA spent a whopping 515,400 Singapore dollars to refurbish the property at 26 Ridout Road, which is rented by Minister K Shanmugam. But wait, there's more. The SLA also shelled out an additional 172,000 Singapore dollars for site clearance, greenery replanting, and fencing, bringing the grand total to a staggering 687,400 Singapore dollars. And that's not all. The SLA also spent 570,500 Singapore dollars on repairs for 31 Ridout Road, although the cost of greenery clearance for that property remains undisclosed. Now, here's the kicker. These expenses far surpass the rent collected from the ministers over a 2-year period. Minister K Shanmugam pays a monthly rent of 26,500 Singapore dollars for a 9-year lease, while Dr. Balakrishnan pays roughly 20,000 Singapore dollar monthly for an 8-year lease. The report argues that these rental amounts are consistent with other black and white houses in the area. However, it conveniently overlooks providing a detailed comparison of land sizes and rental details of comparable properties. And that's a red flag for many people. Here's another curious twist to the story. The report justifies these rental agreements by stating that the properties had been vacant for a considerable period before the ministers decided to rent them. Now, this raises two important issues. First, it suggests that the SLA failed in maintaining the properties, resulting in an inability to lease them or fetch a price above the guideline rent. Basically, the state of the properties didn't justify the recommended rent. Second, it begs the question of whether the SLA would go to such lengths of refurbishment for an average tenant. After all, how would an average tenant anticipate that the SLA would spend over $500,000 refurbishing the property upon signing the lease? And here's where it gets interesting. We have yet to see the SLA provide any examples where they have spent similar amounts on refurbishing properties for other tenants they manage. It's certainly a head-scratcher, isn't it? It's like trying to solve a financial riddle. But that's not all. The CPIB also pointed out a lack of precision in the SLA's usage of the term, guide rent, which led to misconceptions about Minister K Shanmugam's rental offer. As it turns out, his payment of 26,500 Singapore dollars matched the correct guide rent for the property. However, some netizens have likened the odds of making an exact bid on the guide rent to winning the lottery. And it's not just that. While the rental fees for average citizens have been increasing by as much as 70%, Minister K Shanmugam's rent appears to be locked in for a 9-year period, and Dr. Balakrishnan's rent doesn't seem to reflect market trends. That raises eyebrows in a rapidly inflating rental market, and people are left wondering if there might be potential economic losses. To add fuel to the fire, there's a property just a short walk away from 26 Ridout Road that is listed on Property Guru and is 28 times smaller, yet commands a monthly rent of a staggering 65,000 Singapore dollars. This stark difference in rental rates certainly raises questions about how these arrangements align with market norms. As we delve into this issue, it's essential to ponder whether these rental arrangements comply with the spirit of the Minister's Code of Conduct, which has been around since 1954. The code explicitly mandates that ministers must scrupulously avoid any actual or apparent conflict of interest between their official responsibilities and their private financial interests. This brings us to the forthcoming parliamentary session, where these issues will be addressed, and the public eagerly awaits the ministers' responses. So, that's the rundown of the situation, folks. It's a complex web of financial figures, refurbishment expenses, rental rates, and code of conduct implications. I encourage you to share your thoughts and opinions on this matter in the comments below. What do you make of these revelations? Do you think there's more to this story than meets the eye? Let's have a healthy and respectful discussion. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, take care and stay curious.